All right, everyone, welcome to the J Casa USA channel. This is a little bit different than usually the videos that we've been doing with just my ugly mug. Now I have Brendon's ugly mug on the screen with me. Brendon Cannestro. Brendon, how are you doing?
I'm good. Just came home from work and school a little bit ago.
That is great. So Brendon approached me about sharing his story, and I found it fascinating because as a minor, after a simple fire in your kitchen, in your trash can, the police or fire or whatever, the authorities were in your house. They saw you in your room. You had firearms on the wall. You were probably working on your guns. You had some parts laying around, whatever, and they felt the need to use that against you and basically come in and take your Second Amendment away. Tell me exactly what happened if I got that right or wrong,
Yeah, so
and
there's
because
some
this is fascinating to me.
yeah,
And
there's
by the way,
some
you do. Let me just say as well. I'll give you my whole intro here. J Casa USA channel. Everyone, welcome back. We are building a tight knit community here of like minded individuals, just like Brendon, who are looking to fight for, protect, and defend their Second Amendment rights here in the state of New Jersey. That's why I wanted to bring this up. Brendon is in New Jersey, New Egypt, if I remember right.
yes, but same town, yeah.
Okay, Ocean County
Plumstead,
somewhere,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if that interests you, intrigues you, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you stay up to date on my weekly videos. Give me a follow at JCossUSA on X and on Instagram. Brendon, what are you on Instagram and X as well?
I am Brendon underscore on Instagram, and then Twitter I am Brendon CAN 89.
So you're going to find this story fascinating. You're going to want to reach out to Brendon about this. So Brendon, take it away. Give us an idea of what happened here.
So I'll start with what I wrote down. So I have age 19, town of residence, Plumstead Township, Ocean County. I'm currently in school, graduate in June. I currently work at Panera Bread. Hobbies include spending time with family and friends. I liked going shooting with my grandparents and family at Central Jersey Rifle Pistol Club in Jackson, New Jersey. I also like going out to restaurants with my dad, and I also love animals. Now on to the incident. I was being bullied at New Egypt High School from August 2023 to May 2023. There was a threat against my life from said students when I attended a school football game in October 2023. February 2023, I had a mental breakdown in school, was very scared to go to school. I feared for my safety. And also, we were receiving harassing phone calls from these individuals. It was all reported to the Plumstead Township Police Department and Plumstead School District. Nothing was ever done. In fact, they treated me horribly from February up until the incident happened in June 2023, where I was arrested and charged. Everything. I had to be escorted around the school with a security guard at all times. Instead of punishing the students, they punished me by making everything for me very embarrassing for me. Then fast forward to May 2023. We had a small garbage can fire in my house. The Plumstead police responded as well as the fire department. And the police started going through my room in the house. They saw firearm cases in my room and the firearms I had on the wall rack. They were all legally owned by my grandfather. Uh, they were all legally owned by my grandfather. We both went to the shooting at least once a week. So at the incident with the trash can fire, they started asking me questions, and I told them they couldn't be going through my room without a warrant. And me and my grandparents said we wouldn't answer any questions. So they left. Fast forward to June 7th, 2023, the Plumstead Police Department came to our residence with an extreme risk protection order, seized all firearms and ammunition within our home. Then the next day, me and my grandfather acquired legal counsel and were informed that by both of our attorneys we were being charged with various crimes. I was charged with 10 felony offenses. My grandfather was charged with one. Original plan of the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office was to arrest both of us and hold us until the case was resolved. But however, they did give me an opportunity to turn myself into a mental health institution to get evaluated. I was 17 at the time. They would not keep me and my grandfather in pretrial detention if I did that. So, of course, I did. I was there a couple of days and then released. Then me and my grandfather turned ourselves in at the Plumstead Police Department. I was put on ankle monitor for the whole summer 2023. My grandfather was not. We were both released pending further court hearings. My case was in juvenile court, his case adult court. My ankle monitor was removed in September 2023, right before I started a new school. And then December 2023, I was placed on 1 year of deferred disposition. I did not plead guilty to any crime. I was not convicted of any crime, and I was placed under that program for 1 year. December 2024, all 10 charges were dismissed, and my record was expunged per the judge's order.
Wow. That's remarkable. So let's start from the beginning, because obviously the idea that they can come in and search your house, your room specifically, without a warrant, you would think that this would, I'm no constitutional attorney, but you would think this would be against the Fourth Amendment, right? The Fifth Amendment, right? This whole situation. So you're telling me that they use New Jersey's, it's a extreme risk protection order, right? So explain to us how that process is handled, because I think that would mean that there was some sort of complaint about you for them to look further. Is that right?
Well, yeah, well, in the police reports, I think I may have sent them to you. They mentioned the house fire, the trash can stuff, and then what was interesting was the police chief. He's on the board of education, where the school that I went to, where I was having all those problems. And he asked from the trash can fire. He read the report, I guess, and he asked the sergeant to look into it further, as you could see in the report that I showed you. And I think that's where it kind of started, where they started investigating. And then the Ocean County prosecutor's office, if you read it, they advised the sergeant to apply for an extreme risk protection order, because what originally had happened, forgot to mention this, that night they were trying to approve criminal charges on me with the house fire thing when they found it, but the Ocean County prosecutors declined any charges at that time. So what changed within that like almost 2 week time span is my question, kind of thing.
Yeah, that is absolutely remarkable. Remarkable. Well, I'm glad that it was all expunged at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, the
Um,
issue the issue now is I have to do a mental health expungement because of New Jersey's carry killer bill. They added voluntary commitments as a disqualifier, so now I have to do mental health expungement too.
so explain to us, what did they take away in regards to
They took all
firearm
the
wise?
my firearm rights.
No, firearm wise, like
Oh,
how many firearms did you have, and how many did they take away?
well, my grandfather had like 10 rifles and shotguns, I think, and then
So
there
these are
was
both yours and your grandfather's that were in there.
well, they were his. I couldn't legally own them at the
Gotcha,
time, but
gotcha. Yes.
they were his because I was
Okay.
17. But yeah,
Yep, yep, yep.
they were all his. So I think total it had to be like 'cause they were here a while,
Okay.
and it had to be a lot. I don't know the exact number, but it was a lot.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then
So they
all the
were
ammunition on top of that too, and the components and parts and everything. But
so they
yeah, but then
came in here.
they
Go
left
ahead.
the shotgun at our house. We found it like a week later. They forgot one of the guns.
Great job.
So yeah, that was the other thing that
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. So basically they came in for a house fire. They see a kid with a bunch of guns, quote unquote, building guns or whatever in his room. They probably get spooked. You're saying they didn't even have any external complaints. It was just from them. They got spooked by it. And that's where the extreme risk protection order came to be. And they basically confiscated all of your grandfather's guns because of it.
Yeah, and I don't think there was originally going to be any criminal charges until they figured, hey, we could charge them criminally because you just have to look at the one report I sent you. It was like they were saying that the Ocean County prosecutors refused to charge the case in the beginning. I
Yeah,
think I
so
sent.
I'm reading some stuff here. So it says recklessly left firearms unsecured in a residence where a juvenile resides that has mental health history, more specifically in the juvenile's bedroom.
Yeah,
The grandson that resides with the respondent has a recent history of mental health issues. The grandson has made suicidal threats as well as threats of harm towards others in the past. So you're saying this was a result, of you getting bullied in school.
yeah, and the other thing that came out is they actually lied on that. They said that I had a history. You could read it, you could tell for yourself because they said a history of suicidal threats towards others and himself in the past, but they don't state what they are.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the even crazier part. Like they didn't. If it did happen, you're supposed to state what it was.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, just like anything else that the government does, right? Even if it's, no matter how, obviously we're both very pro Second Amendment absolutists, I would
Yeah,
assume from you. Not everyone's that way. Okay, fine. But so even if you think, okay, a government policy is well intentioned, we may not think it is, but some people may, right? Like, okay, we want to keep firearms out of, people that can do harm. It's such an overstep and overreach where someone like you can have done nothing wrong whatsoever and had their rights, their right to self-defense, obviously, their Second Amendment right, uh, taken away without any sort of due process at all. It's like, I love Donald Trump, but he really said something that really pissed me off one time, and it was during his first term. I don't think he would say it now. Uh, Something to the effect of, take the guns and ask questions later, or something to that effect, right?
Yeah,
That's
I've
not
heard
that's
that.
not how it works. That's not
Yeah,
how any of this works. And you could see how. So who's paying the price for that? You are, right?
yeah.
And you did nothing wrong as far as I could see.
Yeah, I mean, so I was placed on that diversionary program. I never pled guilty to anything. I never was convicted of anything. In fact, my record was expunged, so that was good. And the only thing left I have to do is that mental health record thing, the expungement. Yeah,
Yes. And I will give you a lot of credit because a lot of how old are you now?
19. So
So
it's
you're
been like,
19.
yeah,
It's only been a couple years. A lot of kids. I'm gonna call you a kid because I'm almost twice your age, which is shocking to me. But a lot of kids would take that and kind of try to, especially because you were a juvenile, right? So it'd be fairly easy, I would think, to sweep that under the rug and move on with your life, and not tell anyone about it. But instead, you're doing the opposite, and I'm going to commend you for that because I see you out there. You're getting more involved. You're still young, but you're getting more involved. You're going to these Pro 2A events. These Pro 2A clubs, speaking out on social media and trying to tell your story in order to what seems like to me kind of warn people of the intended or unintended consequences of policy like this, where it
yeah.
can really infringe on our rights. Once again, even if it may, to some people's opinions, be well intentioned, this is not how the Constitution works. This is not how a due process is supposed to be. So, tell me what you've been getting involved with lately.
So I've been involved. I went to the CNJFO gun owners dinner
I
back
saw that. Yep.
early April, yeah, and I'd spoken to a lot of great people there who I knew and stuff like that. One of them was Anthony Corlandra, who's great, and I've been on previous podcasts. I think the first one I did was with someone you might know, Dan Francisco of Blue Star Union.
Okay.
So that was like the first one I did, and then I started to know people more from that and continued to meet people, and people were just like, the story is insane. I've never seen anything like it. You got to talk about it more. So, I mean, that's where I am. And I just don't want it to happen to anybody else because my grandfather, I kind of forgot this part, but he was a veteran. He was in Vietnam, which makes it even more egregious when you think about it. But they don't
And your
really care.
grandfather, how has your grandfather gotten these firearms back?
No,
So, and what, it was about 20 firearms, right?
something like that. Yeah.
So 20 firearms, 2 or 3 years later, your veteran grandfather still doesn't have his property
Well,
returned to him.
he can't legal. I was going to get into this, but I didn't really want. He is in a nursing home now. He has a lot of problems, health concerns,
Okay.
and he's not able to legally. So the question became who could take possession of them, and that's kind of the issue right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they'll hold on to those for as long as humanly possible, I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah,
You'll find them in an auction one day. But
yeah. Right. They'll pour sea salt on them to make them rust.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll see it on a Democrat senator's TikTok with them chainsawing the barrel off. Did you see that? I saw the a
yeah,
little, and it's like, oh, you don't even realize you're literally committing a felony right now
yeah.
by chopping that barrel off. You think you're ruining a rifle or shot, whatever the heck it was.
It was
Anyway,
the AR-15, I think.
was it a
Yeah,
rifle? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and once again, it shows you the unintended consequences of these red flag laws because they're so unjust, they're so unfair. And once again, I get you. You get the intention of it, right? But it could be so overused and abused, just like anything else. You're obviously a great example. The biggest example I've always thought would be a wife or maybe even a husband that they're having marital problems or whatever, and they want to get back at each other and says, oh, he's crazy and he's got guns downstairs, and
yeah,
all of a sudden you have your due process is gone, your Second Amendment is gone, your Fourth Amendment is gone, and
yeah.
and then you have to defend yourself after all of that takes place, which is a
Yeah,
very difficult thing to do.
if I could just try, I think a lot of it also that I'm kind of hesitant to talk about, but I'm going to is the school part of it. The school was a very big proponent of this because I was having problems with them, like I said in the beginning, and I think there's more to that part of the story that more time has gone on, that I've realized, like, hey, there was some weird stuff going on with the school at that time because, like I said, I was being bullied. I had to be walked around by the SRO and everything. And it was just weird to me how they wouldn't do anything about it. But then they'd come after me for wearing Second Amendment T-shirts or wearing things
Yeah.
they didn't think they liked. And like my friends would always tell like, "Hey, this is kind of weird how you have to be walked around by like." Yeah, I left that school though, so I'm done in June. I go to a private school now. I went out of district, but I think there what people really need to be aware of is the unintended consequences. Like this could be easily abused. This is a perfect example of it being abused by like the wrong people. And it shouldn't be abused at all, but that's what it is. And the government, who's going to stop them? But I think this case was so egregious. Like the more stuff that came out about it, like they were scared to continue it, or there was this or that was wrong with it, things like that.
Well, did your school have
They
any?
sus-
Go ahead.
They suspended me. Actually,
Really?
after it happened, they were threatening to expel me, even though it had nothing to do with them. I
Isn't that
sent you,
unbelievable?
I sent you the letter. I think actually on Instagram that shows where the prosecutor's office disclosed it to them.
That is remarkable. So the prosecutor's office must have went to the school, of course, and said, "Is there a history with this kid? Is he known for this, known for that?" And they probably just took their word for it, right? Um, and they infringed on your rights in the process.
Yeah, I think I sent you. It was from the Ocean County, and it says then there was the CARES Act thing I sent you. So that is something I want to bring up. The Plumstead CARES. There was like I didn't even know about this. I don't think most of the community knows about this. There's like this the letter I sent you. If you could try to pull it up.
So explain that part, the cares.
I think it was because they thought it was a traumatic. I think they were trying to do the right thing by like saying, "Hey, this kid went through something in the past 24 hours." But then they may have inadvertently. There was that other report I sent you from the day after from the Plumstead police. I think the cop's name was on there. It was something Johnston, and he went to the school and they had concerns and stuff. And that somehow the security guard there knew that there was unsecured firearms in the house.
Okay.
That was kind of odd. So that must. I'm just making a distinction that like something they had to have talked to each other before when the fire happened or something like that
No
and
doubt.
notify. Like, because how else would the security guard would have known that like there was unsecured firearms in the residence? It says it in the report.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you have a are you able do you already have or are you able to get an FID card right now in
I'm
the
waiting.
state?
I'm waiting for the mental health expungement because if I applied, but even with that, they could still deny me
Okay.
because
Well, you're
I
going to keep
think
us posted on that. You got
yeah,
to keep us
yeah.
posted on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to apply soon. It's just money's been kind of tight right now with everything, so I have to actually go up soon for the psych eval for that, the mental health expungement. So I will keep you posted on that because it's something I'm interested in of how they could deny it if it's juvenile related.
So tell me so it seems like most of it is behind
Oh
you.
yeah.
But like I said earlier, you were getting more involved. You were showing your face, sharing your story in the Second Amendment community. How has your story been received so far?
In the Second Amendment community,
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
great. I haven't had any issues. Everybody's been very supportive. I've talked to a lot of different groups. I've talked to SAF. I've talked to NAGR. Let's see who else. I haven't talked to the NRA or anything, but I'm willing to talk to everybody about it. And in the community, so much it seems like nobody's really like batted an eye. Like, oh, it's just this is just normal,
Par
I
for the
guess.
course. Yeah. Par
Yeah,
for the
like,
course.
well, yeah. I mean, there was some people that made noise about it locally, and then it kind of died out and stuff. And like, it just seems weird that nobody would be more up and like, especially how Red Ocean County is.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, yeah,
like,
it's surprising, although you don't know what the I mean, I go to Ocean County fairly often, and yes, it's extremely red, at least especially the last 8 years or so, and but you never know who's in charge in the sheriff's departments and
yeah, yeah,
prosecutors, the judges. You just don't know, and I don't know
yeah,
them, so I'm not besmirching
yeah.
them
I
at
don't
all.
know.
It's just that doesn't mean everything, right?
Yeah,
So what are your plans next? What's your next step?
do more interviews, try to spread the story. I want I guess maybe I'll see like when because the police chief is on the board of ed, like I said. and I really want to, not because I'm being petty, I just really think the town needs change with that. So I'm looking into possibly running for that seat, but we'll see. I don't know yet because I've got so much other stuff to do. But we'll see what else happens. I mean, just getting it out there is the biggest thing, people sharing the word, because after that interview with Dan Francisco, it really put a lot of pressure on them to do something, because the case was kind of in limbo, and like I was kind of scared to speak at that time, and it actually did me more good than harm. So
Well, and as as you get older and you start speaking more and stuff, you'll get more familiar with it, and it'll just be easier for you to do so.
yeah.
How did you get into firearms in the first place?
My grandfather, he was always into it, and I lived with my grandparents since I was very young because my mom had issues, my dad had issues. They're all good now, though. Like, I see them a lot. They were helpful through this whole thing, but growing up, they weren't around that much, and they were having issues. So I stayed with my grandparents, and I stayed with them ever
So
since.
your grandpa being a veteran, he
Yeah,
was
and my
into.
mom too. My mom too.
Her too. That's great. So
Yeah.
what did he shoot? What were his
A lot
favorite
of
guns
it
to shoot?
a lot of it he liked pistols, but a lot of it was rifles, like AR-15s, or like a bolt action rifle, things like that. He used to take me because he's been a member at the CJRPC, which is right down the road in Jackson. Is a big gun club.
Okay.
He's been a member there for like 6 years, like right after COVID. So
Okay, gotcha. So yeah,
yeah.
he's probably been shooting his whole life even.
Yeah, he was in Vienna, and he's been into guns for a while, and then he got me into it as I got older. So
That's good. That's good. Well,
and
listen, what I could tell you is this in regards to running for office, because as you probably know, I'm running for office right now, and I've never run for office before in my life, so I'm learning
yeah.
a lot about it. And what I would say is this: we need more people like you. Um, to run for office. Now it could be school board, and I recommend that you run because then you could use your story and people will like your story if they hear the truth about it. You're gonna get arrows in your back, but
Oh yeah,
you should run. That would be my recommendation. Win or lose, you should run. You'll learn a lot. You learn a
yeah,
lot about yourself, about the community, about other people. And as I mentioned, we need more people like-minded to us, at least uh, at the table when these decisions are being made, right? So like you run for school board in your town, like someone like you and me is at the table when these decisions are being made, and it could have nothing to do with the Second Amendment, right? It could be
yeah,
talking about how much money to spend on a new AC system, right? But we need more of it. In regards to me, the Second Amendment isn't some huge issue for the county level, but I tell people all the time it doesn't have to be.
exactly.
We're just trying to get our foot in the door because right now, at least by me, probably not by you. I don't know what your school board looks like, but at least by me on the county level, there's 7 seats. All seven of them are controlled by the Democrat Party.
Yeah,
So
not here.
so the 45% or whatever 45% of my county, Bergen County, that let's say voted for Donald Trump last time, they're totally not underrepresented. They are unrepresented. They have
Mhm.
no representation on the county level. And the reason I think is just we have so much apathy on our side, right? Like you hear it all the time. Like it's too, the state sucks. It's too far gone. I'm assuming you've been here your whole life, right?
Yeah, yeah. I've been here. I used to
So
live
you,
up north actually when I was really young, like a toddler, when my dad was up there and my mom was up there. But then I came down here with my grandparents.
Yeah. So and Ocean County is much more red than here for
Oh yeah,
sure. But with you get a lot of transplants down there, right? From northern New Jersey, from Staten Island, from wherever. And it's all just still complaining, a lot of complaining all the
yeah.
time, right?
That's all I hear around here.
Which is
Everybody
it's all you
complains.
hear, right? It's too
Yeah,
expensive, the taxes, all this stuff. But eventually you got to stop complaining and start doing or just move out,
yeah,
So if you're not planning on moving out, you got to start doing something or continue to do stuff as you have been already. I would definitely suggest that you run for office, and I wish you all the best doing so. You have my full support if you need any advice and
yeah. We'll
everything,
see. We'll see. I'm gonna leave it at that. We'll see. I'm connected with a lot of people in Plumstead who are in politics. The former mayor is a good friend of mine, and he was supportive during a lot of it, some of the township committee and stuff. I've spoken at the township committee about it. I posted the video on X when I addressed them back in January, and the police chief was there, and he came up and spoke, and he had to say, like, oh, there's more to the story, and that's still under investigation. And I chimed in. I was like, what's still? I said it's been over for a month and a half. I said what's still under investigation?
Right.
And then he started talking back, and so I just gave up with him because like he's wasting talking to a brick wall kind of deal.
That's
So
usually the case.
yeah, it's just weird. Like he mentions, it's still ongoing, is what he said, and I'm like, what's still? It's over. Like what's still ongoing?
Yeah, well, just like everything else, I mean, if you don't have an answer, you just say, well, it's an ongoing investigation and we decline to comment at this time.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna at the last meeting. I was gonna go up and say because he said he was gonna address them soon. I was gonna go up and say, why don't you address everybody now and tell them what happened?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
like
at the very least, you could start going, start showing up at the Board of Ed meetings, right? That
I
sort of
have
thing.
been, yeah,
Yeah. Maybe the town council meetings, and yeah, you go from there. But
yeah,
Brendon, I thank you so much for sharing your story with all the subscribers here that we have. I appreciate you being one of the subscribers. You reached out to me a while ago. I appreciate all the all the attention and support that you give me. Did
Do
you
you
have
have any?
anything?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna see if you had any other questions, and then I was gonna just give my closing statement, I guess, if you have anything else to ask.
No, you take it away. Closing statement.
So yeah, my thing is with this is it shouldn't be whether it's wrong or if you did something wrong or you did something right. It should just be like the egregious abuse of power, that kind of thing. Like it shouldn't be like, well, because with every red flag story, no matter what you get at, you could say someone did something wrong because it's a red flag.
Right.
But in this situation, it's so
Allegedly, anyway.
yeah, allegedly, and it's so minute with a lot of these things. Like they're not going after like gangbangers in Newark with red flag. They're too scared to. So they go after like these areas where like people aren't gonna resist or do anything. And like they tried to ruin my entire life and my reputation and everything because 10 felony charges with that is no joke.
Wow.
And I've never like another thing I've never seen because what originally happened is they were offering me what was it 3 years probation and a record, and then I said no because it's juvenile court. I wanted to go to trial, and then all of a sudden when that happened, their whole tune changed. Like, hey, we could do this or that. Like, it's a lot of different options, you know.
So, and did you? I'm assuming this had to be a decent financial burden for you or your family as well.
Well, now with everything total, it's probably in the hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Unbelievable.
kind of
And
deal.
and
Yeah.
and you're not getting a refund. Expungement
No,
doesn't give you a refund.
no refund yet. I mean, I did start a GoFundMe a while ago. That's not up anymore because I was like, I don't want to be that kind of person. So,
Good
I,
for you.
yeah, so I took it down as I was like, it's I was gonna use it for the expunger. I was like, I don't want to do that, so I took it down.
Well, listen, don't, I mean, if I can help in any way, if you want to start that up, I have no problem, sharing that and promoting that as much as I can, any small
Yeah,
influence and help that I can do.
yeah.
But yeah, my friend Brendon, God
I
bless
think,
you. I
yeah.
appreciate your time so much. Thanks for being on here. Um, yeah, your story is as you mentioned before, I mean, it's remarkable, but also in a way unremarkable because, like, yeah, I don't think anyone watching is surprised either.
I use the word scary because it could happen to you, it could happen to whoever for like, and there was no due process in it. Like it was ex parte, so we didn't even know it was coming. Like we didn't get a chance beforehand to represent ourselves in court. That was the whole issue. Is like the sergeant went for the turpo, and we weren't even notified beforehand. It's like the turpo's done, they're here. So like you could see how that could lead to a very dangerous situation
No
too.
doubt
Like,
about it. And you know what this
yeah,
is? You know what this is as well? I mean, for all of the people that live in New Jersey that may not be as absolute Second Amendment supporters as we are, they'll they hear about you or anyone. Oh, he's got guns in the house, and they just get scared. Like, oh, someone should
yeah,
just go take those away, right?
yeah,
But so it's like a perfect example of uh rules for thee but not for me, right? Because if it comes and their son is into, it doesn't have to be guns, it could be anything. Their son or their daughter's into something else, and their rights to that get stripped away, and they're down hundreds of thousands of dollars. All of a sudden, where's my due process? Where searches Fourth Amendment? What's going on? But we just have to educate the public, and that's the reason why I started this channel in the first place. Is to just because I don't know about you. Well, you said your grandfather was in the served in Vietnam. I didn't even have that. I think my grandparents served, but not really in a wartime thing or anything like that. It wasn't really part of our family identity at all. The military, police as well, not much in that regard either. So guns were never in my house, as far as I knew.
Yeah,
It was always a scary thing,
yeah, yeah.
I was taught to be scared of it,
There's kind of
and
like this culture like in New Jersey. I noticed it out where my mom is. It's not like here's my mom lives in Western Pennsylvania, and they're
oh no,
all like
yep,
during COVID and everything. I went into the one diner near them with a mask on, and everybody turned and looked. And I was like,
yeah,
oh, not because I was dumb then. I was like, oh, I gotta stop the spread, like kind of stuff. And
yeah,
they all turned and looked, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. So it's totally different from state to state, but New Jersey has like the people here are so scared. It's like Stockholm syndrome.
yeah.
They're getting taken advantage by the state and they're abused, and then they continue to still vote for them.
Yeah, well, because they think that they think that they could protect them enough where they don't need a firearm. But I think the last 5 years, I know the last 5 years has changed a lot of people's minds on that,
Oh
not
yeah,
just in New Jersey but across the country. And yeah, that's the big reason why I started this channel because I wanted to just destigmatize the idea of owning a firearm and more specifically carrying a firearm in the state of New Jersey, which we are now allowed to do. And I think that people's minds are being opened to it a good bit. People will eventually realize. Most people don't even know that over 70,000 people in the state of New Jersey have a concealed carry permit.
which is not
Um,
a lot really when you
it's
think
not a
about
lot
it.
percentage
Yeah,
wise, but listen, it was like 2,000 only 3 years ago.
yeah, that's
So
crazy. Yeah,
so that's a percentage wise jump. That's pretty good. So we just need to keep the fight up. You should continue to do what you're doing. I'll continue to do what I do, and
yeah.
hopefully
You have
we.
my full support for Bergen County Commissioner. I'll just let everybody know that. Like
I appreciate that.
whatever he needs, I'll try to be there. So,
I appreciate that, Brandon.
but next weekend or next Friday, I have the thing with Anthony Curlandro, and then
You're gonna
see
be on
what
the
I.
Gun for Hire podcast.
Yes, that's what's supposed to happen. Yeah,
What you're
that's
going there in person, or you're gonna be on
no,
the?
it's gonna be virtual. So that's why I
Okay.
was asking you today because like he does it on the computer and my
Yep.
computer doesn't have a webcam, so I just use the headphones, the wired headphones.
I have no problem being the test run for
Yeah.
Anthony's podcast. I'm
Yeah.
a member at Gun for Hire, and he does a lot to support the Second Amendment, so
Yes.
he'll always have my support as well. But
Yes.
Brandon, I appreciate it so much. Brendan, I should say, right? Not Brandon.
Yeah. Whatever you
And
want to say. I'm used to it now.
thank you so much. God bless you, and good luck. And let me know if we can help in any other way.
Yep. Thank you everybody. Hope everybody likes the video.
All right, take care. Thanks, guys.